Time.
There we go. All right. Hey, well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Mindset Saturday. It's great to see all of you here. As always, honor and pleasure for all of us to get together, to come together and reason, have wonderful conversations, learn, grow, apply, learn, grow, and all that good stuff. All that good stuff. So I always like to start off our mornings and our days with certain thought-provoking topics or did you knows or whatever else it is. So today I'm going to flip it around a little bit to keep everyone on their toes and just start off with a question, which is more of what we talk about maybe before the lights, camera, action comes on. But how was everyone's week? How is everyone's week? How is the information that we are all sharing here? How is that going? How is that working? Are we applying it? How is everyone's week? How did it go? How is everyone doing? Is this my intention? Is that it's working for all of us, that we're all applying it? But it's also nice to come together and just ask and say, hey, what's going on? Are we working it? Are we working with it? How's it going? How's it coming? How was the week? How are we using it? Things like that. This is, like we always talk about, it's a lifestyle. It's not a sermon. It's not a service. It's not a survey. This is not something that we can do for 2 hours on a Saturday and just have it pop off the rest of the week. It's something that we have to make a lifestyle regular. So just kind of want to turn it around a little bit and say, instead of at the end saying, hey, how'd it go? Or how's it going? Or good luck. Want to maybe start off this week with, how is it going? What's happening? Are we using it? What are we finding out about ourselves, about these laws of mind? How is that all going?
I am going to say,
this is for anybody and everybody.
Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
guys? Okay. So Kari put in the chat, week was good. Had to use 48 Laws of Powers mind tricks on my boss. Welcome, Mariano.
Was that Robert Greene?
I want to say that I think this last week also it was a reminder of how this is a lifestyle. This isn't something where like you're like, oh, I've arrived. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no end line. So if you stop practicing, you're kind of going to revert back to things. So, or there's a high chance of that. It's a never ending, using your mind and learning how to think, it's never ending. And that's kind of like probably where I'm at, where it's like, okay, the practice is like the big subject, or outline, or not outline, but like the sight word of the week is the practice is important, basically. I hope that made sense.
Okay. Who else?
For me, Coach, it's just remembering that mindset. Well, to me, it's like it's your thoughts, beliefs, and your experiences. And I just feel like I'm able to show up more with a mature mindset when people have experiences or situations, whether it's my students struggling with like relationships at school, people not wanting to be their friends, and kind of speaking life into that and making them realize who they are, their worth, their value. Whether it's like not having, when I face obstacles in life, knowing that it's just a moment and that moment doesn't have to ruin my entire day, or I have to hold on to that moment and take it into the next moment or the next part of the day or the next situation. Like I can learn to let things go because it was just a moment. It was just an experience. If I didn't like the outcome, then I know I'm going to do something differently. To helping myself get more organized in my business, not allowing things to overwhelm me, just taking more control over the things that I do have. So that way it alleviates some of the stress or the anxiety, and just being confident in who I already am. And I think you do a great job of letting us know that we're already qualified. We're already who we're supposed to be in life. So it's just defining those moments to where we can continue to grow and to evolve and just keep showing up as ourselves. So to me, that's how I feel like I can take every Saturday and continue to apply it in areas when I need to grow or those around me need to grow or shift their perspective to better understanding other people.
Wow, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful.
So Amanda put in the chat, I realized I react so much, so I started taking time to respond when things are happening. And Kari said he was on mute because where he's at is his long guys are being loud right now, so he can't unmute right now. But yes, thank you for sharing, guys.
Wonderful. Okay.
And
Good morning, my name.
Go on.
Good morning.
Oh no, I'll let you finish.
I was only going to read the next chat, which was Amanda said she also realized as I asked to be more humble to get understanding, life throws tests. All right.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Veronica.
Good
This
morning,
week was
Veronica.
amazing, as always. I look forward to gathering with like-minded individuals because we're all on the same page. And it's hard to believe, well, not hard to believe. A lot of people don't know that they get to control their thoughts and their mind. And they are in control of their life, like they are the CEO. So to find a group of people that actually think like this, and I don't feel so alone, is amazing. And this is a side note, I got my school loan debt forgiven this week, so I'm extremely happy about that.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Yeah. That's
Wow,
all I have.
congratulations. Wow, congratulations. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, Lucky, I'd like to share.
Oh, no. Mom. Oh. Okay, with that. Yeah, go ahead.
I had an MRI on Saturday, and usually I have to go all around the city to find open MRIs because of the feeling of claustrophobia. Well, I went into the MRI, the closed MRI, and I tell you, the classes and everything we talk about, things that you and I talk about together, I got into that machine. I calmed my body down, my thoughts down, everything that we talk about, seeing your success at the end. And I took a deep breath and I'm good, I'm here. All that I need is right here with me. I'm at peace. And I went through 45 minutes in that tunnel.
Wow. Wow. That's wonderful. Obviously, I know that, but that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. I'll comment on that a little bit in a little bit. I want to make sure everybody else gets to, because it's the same kind of comment for everyone, but that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, anyone else have anything they want to say or share about what they are getting from all of our conversations together and how they're applying it and what they see or have seen or are seeing from this for themselves?
Me, Latoya.
Okay.
So I am going through a big life change right now. I just ended a long-term relationship and jumping back into single parenthood. And I have been my biggest critic. I recently posted on my Instagram, but to go more in depth here, I literally had to process the fact that my body is going through a healing process right now, and that I need to give myself grace and look at what I'm accomplishing at this time and not what I'm not doing, so that it gives me the willpower the dopamine response to be like, okay, I'm winning, you know, and to keep going. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The mindset is here.
Mhm. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Okay.
So, Coach,
Okay.
I've noticed my imagination I feel like it's on fire. Like and it's something that is very different for me because I've had imagination my whole existence, but in the last like 20 some odd years, all my imagination just seems dulled. But in the last 8 weeks, my dreams are very vivid and vibrant. My thought processes are very vivid and vibrant. Um, in every area of my life, in every aspect of the way I want to live my life going forward. And the way I imagine things has just jumped to a different level.
Wow. Really cool. Really cool. Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Good morning. This is Monique. How are you today, Coach?
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So, what I've realized and what I've gathered so far from being here is that consciousness, decision, and outcome is now how I live my life, as opposed to one day, someday. That doesn't exist. The only thing we have, the only time that we have is now. And so, with every thought, I have a decision to make, and then there's an outcome. So I pretty much shifted the way that I live my life on a regular basis in becoming and in being who I desire to be or who I'm supposed to be. And with that, I have joined a CrossFit gym, which fitness is something that I have been in the ebb and flow with. The nice way to put it, ebb and flow with fitness for like 10 years. And instead of just continuing to thinking, I got this, I'll do it by myself, I just said, okay, it's okay to ask for help. I need help, Mr. CrossFit man. Can you help me get fit? So, and I want to be in alignment, mind, body, and soul. And it starts with consciousness, decision, outcome. So, thank you.
Hey, you're known for that. At least I know you for that. That the way you broke that down one day. That's what you're known for now.
Well, that's a good thing. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. So I haven't really commented on any. I'm just because I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to say whatever they'd like to say before anything and we stuff like that. So anyone else have anything they'd like to say?
All right, moms did say in the chat, my mindset has been bringing what I need.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Well, to all of you and all of us, I would say that's wonderful. And congratulations. This is the point. For me, I have found even recently, I am resting more than I'm even asleep. In the middle of the night, I am conscious for a couple hours in the middle of the night and I'm resting. I'm not really moving, but I'm saying just affirmations to myself, or I may be robotically affirming, but I'm just more conscious of my consciousness. I'm more mindful more often, longer. unless I'm literally unconscious. I can feel my awareness increasing. Even in times that I would normally be sleep longer or whatever else it is, I just feel myself almost when you start any new thing, sometimes you just realize you incorporate it into your life more in more places than you would or than you did before. So if you start drinking water, how you maybe drink water earlier, or you drink it maybe more at work at your desk more than you would have before when you first started, or maybe you try to make sure you have a glass right before bed, or maybe first thing when you wake up, when you feel your awareness of something increasing, how it starts to increase its presence in your life. And I started today asking this question because what I understand when I'm up here talking, and what I want us all to remember, well, I'm sure we all do remember, but this is personal. Learning how to think so that we can live well, this is personal. This is for and about your life. This is the most personal thing in the world, is your own life, is your own personal experience. This is personal. This isn't theoretical. This isn't religious. This isn't objective. This is subjective. This is touch, taste, feel. This is life. We are here to have an experience, physically have an experience. Our consciousness does not require our body. Our body is only made alive by our consciousness. So we came here to have a physical experience. And this physical experience is personal. That's why we have a persona, right? That's why we are a person. That's why we have a character, a mask. That's why we have a name, right? This body, this physical experience, we have a name, first person of our physical. The first person part of our physical experience starts with us, our name. And then our physical experience goes on, progresses outwardly. But first and foremost, first principle, first person, this is personal. This physical experience is personal. It matters. It means something. We're not here to talk about it like it doesn't. We're not here to talk about it like it isn't. We are here doing what we are all doing because it does matter. It's the most important, valuable thing in the world. And our experience is our physical experience. That's why we are here in the flesh. We don't need to be in the flesh to be. We are. We always will be. We always have been. But physically, this body has not always been. It won't always be. Any more of in a car or any more of in a building. Things get built, things get torn down, remodeled, refurbished, whether it's through drought, disaster, hurricane, wind, flood, whether it's through death, so to speak, of any kind, good, bad, old, young, whatever else it is. That's just our transportation, or that's just the building, that's just the temple. That's not us. That's not us, the real us. So the real us came to have a different type of experience than we could have without this body. So this body creates a new game, so to speak, or a new opportunity to play in a different way. And this is a very personal thing. It matters. It means something. That's why we're here, because we want to get the most out of this personal thing called life. Not that we'll ever die, right? We know that now. We know better. But in this physical body, this thing that we call death, the ending of this physical experience, this is personal. This is real. This is true in that sense. We came here to have something real and physical and true that we can take with us in memory even after the body goes, we still will always have this experience, just like when we were young and we went to Disneyland. We're not there anymore, but we always have the memory. When we're out of this body, we're not there anymore, but we always have the memory. It's a part of us. It's a part of our consciousness. It's a part of our personality. So that is why I wanted to start off this morning, because we are talking about and living very real things. This life is personal. This is not something that we're just joking about or playing around with. It has meaning. It has value. There's nothing more important than this physical experience that we're having, because that's why we're here, right? Before and after will always be, and even now, but before and after will always be. But this physical experience, we came to have a physical experience. So this physical experience matters. It's important. And that is why we started off this way, because I want to know, I want all of us to know and hear that this is why we're doing it, so that we can think as our true selves while we're having this physical experience. That we're not limited by the body we're in. The body is important because without it, we can't have this physical experience. But to combine them both like a steering wheel and a gas pedal, we have to be able to inhale and exhale. We have to be able to lie down and get up. We have to be able to do both in order to live a full life, so to speak. We have to be able to wake up. We have to be able to go to sleep. We have to be able to do the dichotomy of both. And this physical experience we have is just as important as anything else we have during our physical time. And for all of us to come here on a Saturday and learn to remember who we really are, so that we can get the most of this physical experience, is why we are here. We're not here to shun the physical world, physical things, wants, needs, hopes, desires, the opposite side of the cone, stresses, fears, anxieties, worries. We're here to remember who we are so that we can deal with everything as it should be dealt with properly. That's why we're here. This is important. It's important how you feel. It's important what you think. It's important to realize how important you are. It's important to realize that your own humanity, learn to adore. Learn to adore your own physical experience. If it didn't matter, we wouldn't have come. Nobody makes all this big deal, not in their right mind, makes all the big deal to go to Disneyland with parking and tickets and the long lines. Nobody does all that for themselves or with whomever else they go with and they bring, and then say it's no big deal. It is a big deal. It's a big deal to go. It's a big deal to think about it. It's a big deal to pay. It's a big deal to when you're doing it. It's a big deal when you're trying to get on the rides and when you're leaving. And 2 weeks later, a month later, the memories you have of that. This all matters. It all matters. And once we understand that, then it's you all matter. How can this matter and you not matter? This does not exist without you. You matter. Subjectively, we talk a lot about the law. We talk about the laws of mind, and I will get to some of those, back to the objective parts of it, the less personal, meaning it applies to everyone, not just you, and it applies to you just like it applies to everyone else. But I do want us to remember, because I'm probably guilty of talking objectively about things and not so subjectively. And a lot of that is because a lot of us are so emotional, as far as we make everything so emotional and personal to get ourselves into things we shouldn't and out of things we should be in. Because oh, well, no, I don't, oh, well, oh, but you understand, and this and that. It's like your problems they're personal to you, but they're not personal. You're not the only one who has them. You're not the only one who will have them. There are people in 1700 had the same problems you had, right? Everybody swears theirs are the biggest, and they're the only ones who've ever had them, and the only ones who will ever have, right? So some of it is trying to remove ourselves from that narrow-mindedness, that short-sightedness, that limited scope of things. But today I wanted to start off to let us know, maybe myself more than anyone, but to let us all know that this is personal. This thing that we're doing called life is personal. It means something. We're here for a reason. We decided to do this for a reason. And if this thing was important enough to do and important enough for you to do it, then you are important enough as the doer. There's nothing more important than you. And I want us to remember that emotionally today, to emotionally realize you're actually important. Doesn't matter what somebody told you or didn't tell you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You came here on your own. You got here. You made that decision to come here. And you're going to decide when you leave and how you leave. Those are all going to be on you. And you came here to do something, do it. You came here to be something physically, be it. You are important. You're important, you're special, you're valuable. There's no one ever going to be like you before, during, or after. You are the only you that ever is and ever will be. And as much as I try to detach us from so much of the emotion, like I said, I do want to remember for myself, and I want to remind us all that your own humanity, learn to adore. Your body, your skin, your hair, your nails, your eyes, your teeth, everything you have. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't have had it. It all matters. You matter. And just remember that. Take some time, if it's just 30 seconds or an hour a week or something, just to adore your own humanity, to rub your own skin, to look at yourself in the mirror with love and praise the way you do with your children, the way you do with your significant others, your spouses and things like that, the way you do with anyone you care about in your life. Turn that spotlight on you. Up here every weekend, the hardest part of the weekend is getting this camera right. Boy, I don't care how much I try to leave in place as it is, man, from 6 to 6:30, if you guys saw it, you guys probably be like, man, this dude is insane. This camera is looking at the ceiling, at the wall, outside, my feet. It's looking at everything but me for 30 minutes. It takes, and so, especially if Veronica's not here, like right now, man, I try to literally leave everything the way it is, and still took me 15 minutes. Right? But but I say all that to say, because I want you to be able to see me. I want you to be able to hear me. And so I say all that to you. I say all that to say to you, spotlight yourself. Look at yourself. Talk to yourself. Love yourself. Remember how important you are. Your own personality, your own persona, your own character, your own physical being and all of its iterations and all of its manifestations, learn to adore it. You picked it. You picked all of it. Your name, your skin, your everything. When you came, you picked that. So you thought it was good enough from where you came, and from where you came, you can call it wherever you want, but it's the beginning. So there is no poor thinking there. You can call that God, the universe, you can call it whatever you want. But there, you weren't crazy. There, you didn't have ADD, ADHD, you didn't have carpal tunnel, there wasn't nothing wrong with you from when you were in that moment picking to come here. And you picked what you are. And so what you are is more than enough. A lot of times we just don't use it because we don't think it is. We're out looking at everyone else and everything else. But we are the person doing all these things we look at, but we don't know the person doing it. We know everyone else and everything else, except the person doing and dealing with everyone else and everything else. So I wanted to start that off today to say, this is personal. This Saturdays that we come, whether it's sitting in a place for 45 minutes that you couldn't before, whether it is redefining yourself or defining yourself as you choose consciously, if you are making a transition from one relationship status to another, whether it is your imagination waking up, whether it is you now going from I'm getting ready to do a podcast and now I've done 3 in a row, 3 days now, whether it is learning how to make a choice and a decision and have an outcome, whether it is starting up your own app, using some of the people that you've been hanging around with, working out for a long time with. Yeah, I didn't forget that conversation we had months ago. I didn't forget that. And now you're doing it. All these things you are doing. The person that you talk bad about, don't pay any attention to, complain about because you're getting, oh, look at the wrinkles on my face. Oh man, my skin is, oh, that same person you're talking about is doing everything else that you're talking about. So as we like to say on the street, put some respect on your name. Put some respect on your own name. I just wanted to start off with that today. I didn't interrupt any of you and I didn't expound on anything you said or ask questions or whatever, because I wanted everybody to say, have an opportunity to say whatever they wanted to say. But I'm happy for you all. I'm happy for us all, because I am no different than you. I might be up here running my mouth the most, and I'm honored and privileged that you would allow me to do that. But I like to listen to you all. I like to hear from you all, because you have your own talents and you have your own abilities and awarenesses and knowledge and experiences that help me. That's why I can rattle off everything you all said, because I listen. And I can say, wow, he said that, or she said that, or wow, I never really thought about that, or I never thought about it that way. That's why we participate. So many people are not as successful as they could be in their endeavors because they don't really participate the way they think they do. Just coming in the back of the class and sitting down and asking the teacher, what you got for me? That's not the same as participating, raising your hand, asking them questions, things like that. That is why I don't want to use the word mandate, but that's why I encourage us to participate. It's not to put anybody on the spot. It's not to make anyone uncomfortable. It's to say, hey, you're going to get the most of whatever you can get from here by participating, by actively participating, not just sitting there sliding in the seat with the hood on and your earbuds in and saying, well, tell me something I need to know before I listen. No, come in ready, come in hot, come in warm, come as however you got to get here, but participate, ask questions, make statements, do whatever you can to be active in your own learning process and your own remembering and reminding process, right? We are just remembering who we are before we got in this body. And this is personal experience. And I want us all to just take a little time sometimes, not in guilt and fear. And that's the only time we take things personal a lot of times is when it's in the so-called negative. But I want us to take it personal and make it emotional positively, to love yourself, to adore yourself, to revere yourself, to look at yourself and say, man, girl, homie, bro, whatever you want to say to yourself, man, you out here, you doing it. And every day and every way we're getting better and better. That we don't have to be what everybody calls perfect. We're enough as we are. The key is to remember who we are so we'll act like it. We're not lacking. We're not lacking the ability. We're just lacking the memory of the ability. So it's just to emotionalize it and personalize it a little bit today first. You're here. You matter. You mean something. And without you, nothing is happening. Without you, none of this matters. Without you, none of this continues. So put some respect on that, on yourself. Love yourself, appreciate yourself. You are the only one that'll ever be as you are. All right. Hopefully everyone understood that. Before I get going, anything anybody wanted to say?
Fuego.
Emotional this morning. Yeah, but you know, whatever it takes.
That was fuego.
As we used to say back in the day, right on, brother.
Right.
That was
Talk that talk, coach. Talk that talk. That was a lot that you just dropped. And that was meaningful. I appreciate you feeding us the way you do. on getting us ready for this. We love you.
Hey, Coach, what about you, man? How are you? You do have a lot of emotion on your face. What's going on? You all right?
Man, I'm good. The same, like I always tell you every week, I live the same life you guys live. Like I live the same, I live the same life you guys live. And I have thoughts in the middle of the night like everyone else does, or I have hopes, dreams, fears that I deal with, things that I have to learn how to think properly about. And sometimes just realizing things for my own self, I'm like, man, I wonder if other people think the same thing, or I wonder, I don't ever stand up here like I made it or like I have it all together, or it's nice sometimes to remember just the simplest things of, man, it's great to just be here. And it's great to remember that we are enough in and of ourselves. And if we take the time to remember that and to just spend a little time with that, and not always to be a little bit more present where we are. So yeah, I live the same life as everyone else. I have emotions like everyone else, and opinions and facts. And like my daughter said, she says, Dad, even my opinions are facts. Right? Oh yeah, how they get at 12, they act like, even if they're wrong, there's another way to see it right, correctly, right? That is, but yeah. So I have the same things that we all have, and sometimes the things I say to myself, I also want to say to you all, because I mean the same things for you that I mean for me, and vice versa. So yeah, man, thank you for asking. Everything is good. I just, like I said, I try to detach us from emotion so much, because I know growing up, most of humanity is so emotion driven for one reason or another, and opinionated, but lack a lot of information and understanding and things like that. So I try to drive that home to balance it out more. But I don't want to forget the fact that we didn't come here to be factual and to be wise and understanding. We came here to have a physical experience, and that having it here is pretty cool. And it is a personal experience to us, each one of us individually. So that's kind of where I was coming from this morning.
According to Vero, it's withdrawal. You miss her. She had a one sentence answer for all of that. She said, he misses me. That's it.
I won't deny it on camera for fear of retribution. Right. But yeah, so like I always say, that's why I always say we are all coming together to reason. We're all reasoning. We're all coming together and sharing our information, our experiences, our wisdom, and things like that, because we're all learning with and from each other. We all have different skills. Like I've called you for things and asked you and you told me some of your experiences and your skills. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Or same thing with Leslie or Giovanni. Like so many of you have told me things I didn't know, I didn't think about, don't understand. It's not my niche. It's not my, so just learning, I'm learning with you and with you, learning from you and with you at the same time that I'm running my mouth. Right. So I appreciate all the different things that we all as individuals bring. And I just wanted to remind us that what we bring as individuals is important. And so the individual itself must be important then. And sometimes we're just in such a hurry to get to the next thing, to the next place, to the next level of consciousness and clarity or whatever, where we forget the being that's actually doing this thing. So that's what I say.
We appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, thank you all. All right. So, like I said, this is personal, right? So, when you are reading, I try to throw in tricky things to really inspire and fire a thought up. When you are, say you're at a grocery store anywhere where you're reading a label, right? You're reading a label of ingredients, right? and you're in a wherever you are, you're reading a label of ingredients. You are describing, you're looking at something and you're describing what's in it. So I try to make this purposely tricky because I want to see if I can fire the thought up get that fire hot. So the ingredients that you're describing, you're looking on the outside and you're saying that this thing is something based on the ingredients, that it is something, that these ingredients are in here. If we were to use this word in the law of mind world, in the thinking world that we're talking about, what word could this be? What if we could even put, so let's say, I could say S or without the S. So I could say ingredient or ingredients. What word would this be?
Thoughts.
If we were using the mind? If we're saying, okay, I'm going to look at this and describe something. That is thoughts, okay. 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 I guess so. I know it's purposely tricky. So I'm hoping somebody gets it, but it's personally tricky. But I'm gonna explain it. So thoughts, okay. Who else?
Decision.
Decision. Okay.
I want to say not concepts, but your beliefs, what you hold on to, what make up your psyche. It's not just your thoughts. There's another word for it, and I can't think of what it is right now. It'll come to me. But, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's my point. Now you guys are firing. Yeah, you're drilling down. Yes. Yes.
So your beliefs or your held values, the things that make you think the way that you do. Those are the ingredients.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I want to say what's in you comes out of you, but I don't know the word for that. Like when you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice.
Okay. Okay. So the ingredients that you see, the ingredients that you're saying are in there, can you see them all?
Not all of them.
No.
Okay.
No.
So then, okay. So then what's another word what is a word that people do when they say I'm doing my, or we talk about doing these things? There's a word for this in the mind. I actually said it earlier.
Thoughts.
Okay.
Values. I don't know.
Okay. So
Visualize.
okay.
Imagination.
The affirmations.
Affirmations. Here's what I mean. You are saying to yourself, I am this. I am that. I am not this. I am not that. You are talking from the outside about things that you believe are in the inside or not. They're not things that you can necessarily see. They're just things that you believe are in here. Just like the ingredients. They're not things you can see, but they're things that you believe are in here. But you are reading off, you are saying your affirmations just like you're saying the ingredients when you're reading the bottle. Right? Your affirmations. So now let me take it to another direction. So does everybody understand that so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So,
Yes.
So now watch this. Do you know that 10% of all food is mislabeled? Do you know that 80% of manufacturers have mislabeled their stuff? Do you know that 12% of producers don't even look at their labels? Do you know that nearly 60% of CBD products are mislabeled? That means wrong stuff, not true at all, whatever else it is, right? Do you know that more than half of supplements are mislabeled.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's true.
You know, I know.
Right? Right? I know you two know, right? I know you two, you guys make stuff, right? So my point is that even the ingredients that you're reading aren't even guaranteed to be true. They're not even guaranteed to be true, but we just take them as the truth. That's why one of the first questions I asked, and Kari responded to that one, was, if we look at the ingredients, can we see them all? Well, okay, they have this and this and this. If I open it up, can I see every one of those ingredients? No, I don't. It's just all mixed together. It's just all in here. All I'm doing is assuming. But if all these things are mislabeled to all these different percentages and all these different degrees, and yet we're buying products and they're not even labeled correctly, most of them, if you average this out, most of them, most of the time aren't even labeled correct. Most of them, most of the time, are mislabeled. So at best, you're getting probably 50% correct. So that means you're not even in the grocery store, you're in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well be playing blackjack or craps. And depending on the product and the place, your odds may be greater in Vegas than actually the truth of what it is you're reading, whether it's to put on your body or in it. Yet we do it just on the assumption that what we are reading is true. Now, assumption, right? What is the definition of assumption? Do you remember when we talked about that last week? What is the definition of assumption?
So basically, deciding what you're going to experience.
That's the process. What's the definition of the word?
I'm gonna mute.
What is the definition of the word assumption?
To make a choice or decision based on incomplete facts or incomplete information.
Okay, which is, if you had incomplete facts or incomplete information, if you had to use one word to make a choice based on incomplete facts or incomplete information, if you had that last part, incomplete facts and incomplete information, what is one word? That means you have no
Proof.
The definition of assumption is the belief in something without proof. That's actually what it means. The belief in when you bought that thing at the store, we just went over it. 60% of this is mislabeled, 10% of all of it's mislabeled, over 50% of that is mislabeled. This is mislabeled, that is mislabeled, and we're not talking about just pure outright lying. Do you know that you're allowed to have legally up to 100 rat hairs in your cereal?
Oh, that's not even fair. Oh,
Legally.
Stop.
Did you know that? There's a lot of stuff I didn't know. I was not up to. Yeah, you're legally allowed to have up to 100 rat hairs in your cereal, because they can't, at the factory where they're manufacturing the cereal, it's cereal. Kids like cereal. What you think rats like, right? They can't get all the rats out. They can't keep them out. And so they may catch them, they may not, but like any animal, it sheds hair. And and when it's going through that process, you're allowed. This is legal. Look it up. It's legal. You're up to 100 rat hair in your cereal. Package it up, and if the FDA opened the box and counted 100 or less, they'd be like, package it up, send it on out. That's fact.
That's nasty.
Fact. True, right? So my point is, right, there's a lot of things. Now that's including in your organic granola,
even more,
unless somebody's literally making it at the house. If it's we're talking about things that are at a factory, right? But otherwise, that's in your organic granola, your wheat germ, and your everything else that you're being Captain America with. Yeah, that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
You go on your nice little 5K walk, and you come back and want to eat something nutritious. Yeah, it's in there. right? Well, at least possibly, and usually, right, it's in there. So when I have my Captain Crunch, I'm
Gross.
just, huh?
That's
When I have my,
gross.
yeah, I eat cereal like once a year. I go on a weekend.
Added protein.
Yeah, that's it. I go on a weekend
Fiber.
once a year. I eat cereal all weekend exclusively.
He does that.
The whole week. I mean, the whole weekend. Don't ask me.
The sweet
do I want
kind.
something else? That's it. I go through a whole thing. I go to Costco and get the 3 little oat milks, and I get the like 4 boxes of Captain Crunch, some Rice Krispies, the Cocoa Krispies, and I just go to work
You hurt
for a whole weekend. Oh yeah, and I make myself sick the whole weekend. And yeah, it's my cereal. I mean, I never drink and never smoke, so that's like my cereal hangover. I go 2 days hard, 3 days of recovery. By the end of the next week, I'm all right. But I did the thing, right? But yeah, I mean, all them hairs in there, right? So I'm saying that to say, right? What I'm saying is that we have that affirmations are the same thing as ingredients. They are things that we're saying from the outside about something on the inside that maybe we can't see or no one else can see, but we're believing is there without actual proof. We can't say, I know this thing is in here because this is happening. We can't say that. Nobody's opening up the thing and testing the stuff in the store. You don't know what's in there, right? These are all facts. 60% of this, 10% of that, or whatever. So my point in saying all that to say is that essentially your affirmations are no more crazy. What you're saying about what you are saying to yourself about what you were saying to yourself about yourself that you can't prove is no crazier than you reading ingredients and believing. Therefore, you can say whatever you want about yourself and it be at least just as true, just as possible. It can literally be just as true. You have a 50-50 chance. Let's just say it on the street. Forget God, forget the mind, forget all that. Let's just forget all of that. But just actually on the street, on the ground, on the feet, on the ground. You have just as much chance of these affirmations being true as the ingredients in your jar, in your box, in your cereal, in your makeup, and your anything else being true. You have just as much chance. So what I'm saying to you is, if both of these require you to say something that you can't prove, to believe something that you can't prove to be true. You can't prove it. Before they went to the moon, how could you prove that you could do it? There are so many assumptions we make in life that we cannot prove before we do it. But we assume it can be done, therefore it gets done. We're assuming that these ingredients are true. What's in here is in here. What they don't mention is not in here, and both of those are not true. Over 50% of the time, if you were to include everything. You're literally in Vegas. So what I'm saying to you is, or let me ask you a question then. So then what am I saying this for? What's the point?
We have the ability to make up
Start over. I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
We have the ability to make our own ingredients of who we are.
That's absolutely correct. Why not? They're doing it. And they're not even telling you the truth. You can at least tell yourself the truth. You can at least choose what you put in there. You can choose what you are. You can choose what you say about yourself. And you don't need proof to say it. You don't need proof of these ingredients to eat it or to put it on your skin. And technically, anything you put on your body, you should be able to eat. If you just want to go the OG of health. Anything you put on your body, you should be able to eat because it goes into your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why that's why.
Please tell that to my wife. I get tired of telling her to put chapstick on my baby. I'm like, if she can't eat it, it don't need to be on her lips. I wish she would have heard that.
Yeah, yeah. It's just true, right? You're better off putting shea butter on there. It's the best moisturizer in the world, right? So, absolutely. So you can say whatever you want to say about yourself. It doesn't require your proof to say it. Just like it doesn't require your knowledge or your ability to prove it before you put it on your body or put it in your mouth. We just take it as fact. We take it as assumption. So therefore we move forward with it and it becomes a part of our experience. Your affirmations can become the same way. That's all your affirmations are. They're just ingredients. They're things that you're willing to say to yourself without proof so that they become a part of your experience, whether it's in your mouth or on your skin. As you move forward in life, they become a part of your experience. They become a part of you. But when you first read them on the jar, when you first say them about yourself, they're foreign. And you have to be willing to take a step to say, hey, this is foreign to me, but I believe, so I'm going to have this experience. I believe this, so I'm going to move forward with this purchase. That's all these are. That's all affirmations are. Now, to your point, like some of you said earlier, affirmations are ingredients. They are essentially what you are now making your life comprised of. What you're now saying, my life is going to be made up of these things, just like this product is made up of these things. And because when I look on the label and I say, oh no, this is GMO, I'm gonna go organic. Or no, this has too much sugar, I'm gonna go no sugar or low sugar. Oh, this has too much fat, I'm gonna go low fat or no fat. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You are picking things based on the ingredients, and you're using the ingredients to say, if I ingest this or if I use this based on the ingredients, my experience will be X. If you use your affirmations to build yourself, meaning if you use a pattern of thoughts and of words that you say, or just thoughts that you think about yourself in and about every area of your life, that is what you're saying you want your life to be made up of. You don't need proof of that to say that, but you will never have proof of it if you're unwilling to move forward without the proof, because you'll never have proof before you prove it. How do you prove you can get to the moon before you go? How do you prove you can? How do you prove it? There's no way to prove it before you do it. Everything is taking on some form of assumption / faith. But faith is just nothing but belief without proof. It's the same thing. So now I use the word ingredients because I want us to understand we're doing this every day. We're believing in things that are not even true every day, statistically fact. They're not even true. So these affirmations in your mind could be more or less or the same amount of, you could use the same amount of knowledge, belief, ignorance. You don't even have to change your own statistical levels if you just keep it the same and just say, okay, I'm going to believe these as much as I believe as what they said is in this jar. If you made them prove what was in that jar, you're gonna have to buy it first. Then you're gonna send it somewhere. It's just, you just buying it because you believe that what they put is what it is. But we just went over the numbers and that's not true, at least 50% of the time. If you were to amortize out overall, 50% of the time it's not true. Whether it is in there, it isn't in there, or it's not what they say it is. Well, if you just, and you're willing to we live on this every day and build whole lives around it. So I'm saying your affirmations, you can do the same thing. What are those? They're just things, they're ingredients. They're things that you're willing to look at your life and say, this is what I want to be in here. This is what I want to make my life up of. Just like this is what this product is made up of. I don't have any proof. This is just what they're telling me. Well, I don't have any proof, but this is what I'm going to tell myself. And so I'm going to build my product. I'm going to build my life on these set of ingredients. Whatever ingredients that you feel produce your desired product. your desired lifestyle, your desired life, right? Whether it's health or money or relationships or success or whatever the ingredients of your product, your life you want to be. You don't need proof. You are the actual proof itself. Your belief proves everything or disproves it. But just like any good scientist, we can't have a hypothesis without testing it. Prove it to me. Okay, well, I got to test it. No, prove it to me before you test it. How do you do that? That's what the test is for, is to prove it. That's why when we were young, we had tests. It was to prove, what do you know? It's not to test you like, do you know anything? It's to say, what do you know? It's not personal. It's just to say, hey, here's what I told you. I have this test. Show me if you know what I said. That's what it's for. It's to prove that you interpreted what I said correctly. Your affirmations, what you say to yourself and about yourself, that is your affirmation. It's always hard. Money's tight. What you know is all. It's not what you know, is who you know. Those are just all affirmations. They're just things that you prove to be true because of your belief in them. They're not actual fact. Everybody doesn't have the same experiences. Everybody has to eat. Everybody has to sleep. Everybody's born. Everybody dies. Those are facts. Those are things that are immutable, unchangeable. If it is mutable, if it is changeable, it is not a fact. It may be a fact for you. It may be your own personal experience. It's not the truth. It's just true for you. But you can change what's true for you by deciding to buy a different product. And the difference between one product and the next one is the ingredients, are the ingredients. The difference between you and someone else are your ingredients. What you are saying to and about yourself, whether that's verbal or just your state of consciousness, what you know to be true about yourself. That's an affirmation. You don't have to say it. Affirmation doesn't have to be said. You can or you can't. You don't have to verbalize it for you to know that's what you think. And whatever those ingredients all mixed up are called your life. And just like you wouldn't buy a product if you saw these ingredients, then if you have a life you're not living the way you want, or you want to make some changes, you do that. I remember talking to Kari, he was talking about his gangster fuel supplement. He talked about how many different ingredients he changed in order to make it taste different. Or Leslie talking about her product, how many different things she changes to make things last longer or do this or do that. You understand that by changing ingredients, you change the product. It's not personal, it's not emotional, it's just scientific, right? What does the word science mean? What does that word mean?
I'm just going to go with experimentation, but I know that's not the answer.
Yes, right. Science, what does it mean?
Is it the pursuit of knowledge? The pursuit of explaining the environment that we exist in?
It's one word, you said it.
Environment.
Nope.
Pursuit.
Nope.
I got to go through the
How
whole
something
sentence.
works.
Existence.
Nope.
Study.
Experiment.
Knowledge.
Somebody says
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Oh.
Science means knowledge. What does conscious mean?
Awareness.
Aware.
With knowledge,
Okay.
right? Like in Spanish, con, with.
Mm.
Latin, same thing, con, with. Conscious means you're aware with knowledge.
Conscience. Oh.
Yeah, that's what that means. Science means knowledge. So what I'm saying to you is that what I'm saying to you is when you are saying an affirmation, what you are literally doing is you are, whether you're thinking it or verbalizing it, you are expressing your awareness of your ingredients. You're saying, this is what I am. This is what I'm made up of. It's not saying that you can't change it. It's saying that this is what I either I'm aware of what I'm made up now of, or I'm choosing it to be aware of, I'm changing the ingredients. This is too salty. I want to put more sugar in it.
We
This
have
is not a binding or a bonding agent. I need to put a different something else to have a better covalent bond. I need to change something, right? By changing the ingredients, you change the product. You don't change the product by changing the name.
we have a question.
It's just this now. Yes.
Okay, Stacy, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have a question. The
Yes.
question is, I manage lupus, muscular sclerosis, and when I made it out the wheelchair 12 years ago, I say, people, when I greet people, I say, I'm fantastic and amazing. Sorry, he's doing a smoothie. No rats in there. So, I say fantastic and amazing. What mental ingredient am I actually saying there?
It depends on what you mean by fantastic and amazing. Words
I
are
am fantastic and amazing.
so if that so and that is essentially so whatever that means to you, right? Like we think when we say I'm good or I'm happy, we think we all literally mean the exact same thing, like it's a number. It's not a number. It's subjective. It's not objective. Even though we're using the same word, they don't all mean the same things to us. They don't have the same level of intensity. They don't have the same level of belief. We don't all believe. We all know a word, but we don't all believe in it the same. We wouldn't necessarily use the same word to describe the same feeling. So I understand what you mean as far as in the word, but what it actually literally means to you, how do you know what that is? You take a look at your life and that's what it is to you. When you say that, that's what it is to you. So that word to you got you up out of a wheelchair, or that word to you got you up out of, or it's going to get you, it got you up out of what you're out of. It's keeping you in what you're in. And so if you want to have even more, then you start adding words to you that mean more.
Correct, because I initially started saying extraordinary, but then that was so boring. Fantastic was so much fun because fantastic is cute and extraordinary. So that was the reason why I said that, but that's true. I didn't think of that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right? It's what at the very beginning, I wrote the word on the board, right? For everybody. At the very beginning, I wrote this word on the board. What word did I write?
Personal.
Personal. This journey is personal. What you mean by fantastic, what you mean by extraordinary, what you mean by good, what you mean by great, those are personal, subjective things. They're based on our experiences. They're based on what we think we mean by them. So there is no right or wrong word. There's no good or bad word, so to speak. It's what does this word mean to you? What is it actually expressing to you? Because that is what you're going to get, because that's what you mean. We don't get what we say or what we want. We get what we mean. We try to mean what we say, and we try to say what we mean, but words don't always get to the finest detail, to the granular level. They don't, but your feelings do. And so we try to use the word that best describes what we're feeling, but it doesn't matter what word you use, as long as that is the word you're attaching to that feeling of whatever else it is. So when you say I'm fine and fantastic, or you say I'm good and very good, or I'm highly blessed and favored, there is no good or bad thing to say. It only is, what does that mean to you? And if you can find the thought, the feeling, and or the word that means you are what you want to be, you have what you want to have, and in any and every area of your life, that is the word for you. It's personal. Pick the word for you. Pick the thought for you. Pick the feeling for you that reflects your end, what you want to be, to become. Your affirmation is what you want to be in order to become. You have to be before you become. Right? So those words, any words that we use, any thoughts or feelings are personal. So we have to just make sure that we pick the ones that are most meaningful and reflective to us, that's what will turn you on. That's what will turn your flame on. That's what will get you hopping and skipping. Not the way I say it or the way someone else says it or their word, your word. And so you pick your words, like you said, if it's boring, that ain't it for you. Pick the one that turns you on, turns you up, taps you in, and it's literally gonna have you up on your toes like a ballerina. And you'll be walking on water and turning water into wine, right? So, like that. All right, excellent. All right, so we can change, we can choose. That is the power that humanity has that no other living organism has, in the sense of we can change. Other organisms change if they choose, right? They go through metamorphosis, they fly south for the winter, they do all different types of changing, but we can consciously change from one thing to something completely different. We're the only ones that can do that. And so our greatest power is not in our physical prowess. Nobody up here is beating up a bear, outrunning a cheetah. Nobody's squaring up with a lion. Nobody's up in here. Nobody's up in here doing all these other physical things like physical things, right? But we are a mental thing and a physical thing. And our prowess, our greatest strength is our mind, is our ability to think and to choose, to change. And so what you are saying about yourself, what we are saying about ourselves, what we are affirming, what we are saying it's true, what we are saying abracadabra, right? Let it be. It is so. That's what that means. Abracadabra, let it be. It is so. What we have the ability to change and to choose. And every day that we stay committed to the choice we made and the change we made, we will see that expanding in our lives. It will not only remain, but it will expand. You'll see more and more of it. So we get to choose and change. And so whatever choice you want, whatever change you want to make, that is your highest power. That's your highest power, is to choose, is the ability to choose and change. No other living thing can do that. A tree can't, a cheetah can't, a cat can't, a dog can't. Only humanity can do that. That's your greatest power. And so when we remain stuck, we are literally giving away the only thing that makes us us. We're now no different or better than a cat, better or worse. We're no different or better than a tree. So just imagine you come home and you ask your cat, what's for dinner? Man, you go by the tree like, hey, what you got for me? You'd starve to death. You'd be messed up, right? When we give away the only thing that makes us different is our consciousness, the level that it's operating at, which is the ability to change and choose our lives at every moment of time. If we give that away, if we don't use that, we are no better than any other living organism. And not that we're better or worse, we're just different, but we are not being who we are. And if we're not who we are, then what are we? You're not going to be able to jump into a lion's cage like, you know what, this human thing, that ain't working out. I'm going to come hang out with you guys. What you guys doing? What's for dinner? It's not going to work out, right? They're going to be looking at you like, if you don't know who you are, we do. And if you don't get to step it in a minute, you going to be for dinner, right? If you lost your mind, we didn't. We can literally lose our mind. We can gain it, lose it, get it back. We're the only ones that can do that. So when we don't use our highest faculty, we're of no use to ourselves or anyone else. Wallace Wattles had two great quotes, one of which he said was, you can honor man and God no more than to make the most of yourselves. What does it say? You owe no man anything that will prevent you from making the most of yourself. Making the most of yourself is the goal, is the game, is to be all that you can be. What does it say? Like the army, be all you can be. That's the goal, that's the game. And how can you do that if you can't change the ingredients? But you can. We can change what we say about ourselves, to ourselves, about ourselves, we can change. We can choose something different. That is the one faculty we have that no one else has. That is our superpower. Use it. Use it. It doesn't matter where you are right now in this moment. You can choose. If you can think something different, you can have something different. And you always have the ability to think. You always have the ability to choose. We've been conditioned to think that we don't, or we've been conditioned to think that someone else should for us, or someone else is better at it than us. So give our ability to think away to them, just like giving somebody cuts in elementary school. No, you can't give away what you don't have. So we have the same ability that they have, but we are using our ability to give it away to let them use it for us because they know better. Nobody knows what's better for you than you when you know you. Yeah. Right? The problem is we don't know ourselves well enough to know what's even good for us, even bad for us. We have to get to know ourselves well enough to know what really is good for us. Those desires of your heart to be, to do, to have something, those are all very real things. And those are all things that are for you and about you. They are personal. What you like, who you are, is personal. What you want is personal. So make it personal. Not enough to cry and whine, but to do it right and do it well. To choose. Hey, man, I can be anything. Let me choose what I want. I can do anything. Let me choose what I want. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the idea or the desire. All right. What you have been is not who you have to remain as. We've all in here been in 6th grade. We're not there anymore. But we are all still technically the same person, had the same name. We were 6th graders. That was something we were for a moment of time. And when that season ended, we transitioned into 7th grade and so on and so forth. We are where we are right now. It can just be for a season of time. We have the ability to choose and transition into another iteration of ourselves. And those choices and changes we'll often know by our desires, dreams, desires, the things that we want, the things that are outstanding that we want to pursue to become. That is the maturation. That is the matriculation. Is that right? So people ask me, I've had a couple people ask me over the last maybe month or so, here and away, about robotic affirming. Does anybody know what a robotic affirming is?
They're like listening to audio tapes that just automatically put thoughts into your mind.
Essentially, they can be an external tape or your own thoughts that you choose to replay over and over without thought, without feeling necessary, without emotion. You just put it on. It's just on in your mind. Several people have asked me what that is. That's what it is. So several people have asked me, like I said, on here and away from here, does that work? Yes and no. It works according to your belief in it, but just like anything else does. But what I will say is, one of the best things about that is you may say to yourself, I am happy, healthy, and safe. That may be your, I'm just going to say that to myself all day. Loud, sometimes just in my mind, but today I'm just going to say I'm happy, healthy, and safe. I'm happy, healthy, and safe. I'm happy, healthy, and safe. It's just like reading those ingredients. You can't prove it, but you say it's on here. You say it's in here, so I'm just going to read it. I'm just going to say it. I'm happy, healthy, and safe. I'm happy, healthy, and safe. Do those work? Well, yes, it does. For some people, it doesn't for others. It's based on if that works for you, if that's something, if that vibes with you. Just like the words, what I say, does that vibe with me? The way I'm doing it, does it vibe with me? It's a personal journey. You pick your own. Some people use robotic affirmations. They just say the same thing to themselves over and over and over. Faith comes by hearing. So they just keep saying it over and over and over and over and over, right? Some people use affirmations. I'm going to say something for a certain amount of time, and I'm going to say something, for whatever, half an hour, or I'm just going to say something every day. Some people write. They write down their thing. Some people use their imagination. I see myself being or doing or having. All those are personal things. None of them work or don't work. They all work or don't work according to you, to your personal preference, to your own personal thing. You have your own experiences. Some people can hear things. You can hear somebody talking good about you, saying what you are because of what you want to be. Some people are more auditory. You have to find what works for you. To be able, all of it is to be able to put yourself in a state of mind that you are the thing you want, that you have the thing you want. That's all of it's for. That's all of it is for, is to be able to put you in that mind. Just imagine like you're moving from one state to another. Some people walk, some people bike, some people take a train, some people take a boat, some people take a plane. You take the best method of transportation to take you from one place to another, from one state of mind to another. Your transportation, your mode or method of transportation is personal. You don't do what everyone else is doing. Do it your way. What is the way that works for you? Some people are writers, some people are painters, some people have more vision, some people are more auditory, some people are whatever else it is. You do what's best for you. But in a specific thing of robotic affirmations, the good thing I will say about robotic affirmations, I'm not trumpeting it over anything else or it specifically. I'm simply saying the good thing about that is it gets you talking to yourself all the time, consciously, purposely, about something you chose to talk to yourself about. One of the things that we suffer from most is information, and information coming from places or in times that we were not aware to protect ourselves from it. So a lot of childhood information. Oh, well, a moment on the lips, an hour on the hips, or money doesn't grow on trees, or all the different things that you heard, especially old people tell young people. You're not gonna be able to eat like that forever. Right? And all the different things that we take in, and it just kind of sits in the back of our mind. And then when we get older, it clicks on because we heard it, but we didn't need it right then. But we kept the thought and it stuck with us. And when the time was appropriate, right? Just like a winter coat, when the time is appropriate, it's not August, right? But come November and December, that coat that's been hanging back up there, you'll start looking for. And so your mind, your consciousness holds a lot of things that it believes to be true because of when you heard it, from whom you heard it, about what you heard. So our own personal experiences allow us to believe things that I may believe that another person may not believe, but however you got it in you, it's there. So a lot of information we have that we are replaying and recycling in our mind, that we're meditating on, ruminating on over and over, playing over and over, came from a lot of moments in life that we didn't know we shouldn't believe that, right? So from young, old, from young ages, we believe things, or we had an experience and our takeaway from that experience was negative. So we believe that that experience is automatically negative. We have a lot of beliefs that we got before we actually before we consciously filtered or consciously made a decision to accept or reject. We just automatically accept it because of the intensity of it, or because of the belief in who was telling us, or because of our experience with it. We just automatically assumed that our takeaway from that, however we got it, was true. And the good thing about robotic affirmation, just saying something to yourself over and over and over that you chose, is just getting in the habit of talking to yourself, hearing yourself about what you want, not everyone else's information. Your friends, your parents, your siblings, your kids, your coworkers, the news, the world, the internet, social media. We have a deluge of information constantly coming into us. And most of it is not chosen. We just experience it. We just hear it. And so there's a lot of stuff getting in that isn't necessarily for our highest and best good or best good at all. But we aren't really saying anything to ourselves on a regular basis that would have that space already occupied. So getting in the habit of just talking to yourself consciously can be a good thing because we automatically do it anyway. But generally what we're doing is repeating what we've heard someone else say. from wherever else it came, or repeating a misinterpretation of an experience that we took the wrong way or the meaning of the wrong way, and now repeating that to ourselves. So a lot of it is just not something we purposely meant or purposely chose. And so a great thing about whether it's affirmations or robotic affirmations, just saying something without looking to feel it, without looking to believe it, without looking, just, I am this. I'm just this. All day today, this. I'm just this. And saying it over and over and over and over and over. It just, one good thing about that is it occupies your mind. So when it, like, you're already in the bathroom, so the door's locked, somebody may think they're coming in, but the door's locked. You're already there. You already have a set of thoughts in your mind that are something you chose, that is constantly being used, so there's nothing else that can come in and change it, because you're constantly being occupied by that, by your own set of chosen thoughts or sets of chosen thought. So that is a good thing about it. And the last thing I'll say about it is that what happens is when you do something over and over, you start to realize you're doing it even when you don't realize it. You just start to, you'll be, sometimes in my sleep, I'll say things in the middle of the night that I consciously am awake, but something will be playing because I've been saying it for 2 days in a row. But I wasn't saying it consciously. I wasn't purposely saying it, but it finally kicked in and it started playing on its own. Like stories that we tell ourselves about what's going to happen or not going to happen or whatever. So, like I said, I'm not saying this is something you have to do or need to do. A couple people have asked me questions on here, and a couple people have asked me questions throughout the last maybe week or two about it. So I figured I would address it here because it's kind of part of what we're talking about anyway. But just your ingredients, your ability to choose what it is you're thinking and feeling and saying to yourself about any area and aspect of your life. And whatever you say long enough, you believe. It doesn't matter what it is you say. Faith comes by hearing, not in what you hear in hearing, in consistent access to something over and over and over and over and over and over, right? So that is a good thing that it can be used for as well, right? Affirmations, same thing, just choosing what you want and just making that a part of your ingredients list. This is just a part of who I am. And I say it over and over until it produces a product. This is what the product, my life, is made up of. My life is now made up of these things. I am self-identifying. That's what an affirmation is. It's a self-identification. I am this. I am made up of this. I am comprised of this. And what I want us to all know, remember, understand, remind ourselves of is to choose wisely which ingredients we're making ourselves up with and of, right? What building materials we're using. All right. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions, comments, statements before I move forward?
I got you.
Okay.
I am still fantastic and amazing though, okay?
Yeah. As long as it works for you, shoot, keep it. Keep it. If you're getting the product, keep the ingredients. I'm with it. Anyone else before we move forward? Okay.
Clear to go.
All right. Everybody see that?
Yes.
You got a little bit of a problem here, brother.
Right? So, what is wrong with that? Like, obviously it's wrong, but what is wrong with it?
It's not our agreement, our collective agreement. Our collective
Okay.
agreement is that 2 + 2 is 4.
Okay. So a collective agreement is called, in humanity, we call what?
A fact.
A fact. What else? When you're driving down the street and there's a speed limit.
Law.
A law. 2 + 2 is 5 is what?
And untrue.
Yes.
False.
But what would we say? It is
A lie. A false.
Breaking the law.
It's against the law. This is against the law.
Section 534 in the law book code 5.
There you go. There you go. That's right. And guess what? You are going to be penalized for violating it. You are
You know,
going to
another
become,
thing they say, that's the one thing that they say, numbers don't lie. So they go high when you mess numbers up.
yeah, right? So when you go against the law, you will be penalized, right? And depending on the depth of your violation, you may become imprisoned.
Nice. I know where this is going.
Right? And then, right? And then, so when you are on the wrong side of the law, then you have no justice. Then when you have no justice, you have what?
No peace.
Peace.
No peace. This is what happens when you go against the law. This is what happens. Now, let's just say all things are equal. Let's just say we're not going to get into all the historical truths about this not being distributed equitably, but let's just say it were. So this is against the law. In the world, right, it's the same thing, if all things being equal. When you go against the law, these are all these things, these steps are going to happen. So all these things happened because you were against the law. So it happened to you personally. But it is not personal. It will, if you violate the law, its outcome will happen to you personally, but it is not personal. According to your faith, according to your expectation, be it unto you. That is a mental law. As a man thinketh, like James Allen wrote, or as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. As a mind believes itself to be, so is it. That is a law. Just like anything else. This is the law. 2 + 2 is 4. If you write that down, all of these things now, all of these things here disappear. Literally just by this. So 2 + 2 is 5 is against the law. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 things right here. Physically, what would you call these things? 2 + 2 is 5. That's why all these things happen. Because it's against the law. So these 4 things are what?
Results. Outcomes.
Out of alignment.
Their outcomes, right? And their outcomes, and they are symptoms. They're letting you know something is wrong. They're letting all of these exist because of this number right here. All of these 4 things exist because of this one thing. All of these outcomes exist because of one thing. They don't all exist separately. They're not their own, they're their own individual expressions, but they're not coming from different problems. They're coming from one answer. They're coming from one idea. They're coming from a thought. They're coming from a belief you have about something that will express itself in every way necessary, appropriate, and proper so that it is complete. If it's completely right, all of these are gone. If it's completely wrong, all of these show up immediately. This is the law. The law has outcomes and symptoms, things that happen because of it and things that are a reflection of it. When you go according to the law, all these things now drop off and another set of things appear. Now you have peace. Now you have justice. Now you are not imprisoned. All these things start to drop off and rearrange themselves according to this answer. According to this answer. Has anybody ever heard? You can raise your hand on the little screen, put your little hand up on the chat thing, or you can say something. Has anybody ever heard the Lord is no respecter of persons? Right, I see one hand. Anybody else? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what it's talking about, the law. The law of mind is no respecter of persons. It will make you whatever you put here. It's automatic. The law is no respecter of persons. 2 + 2 is 4 for everyone. Races, sexes, genders, colors, countries. It doesn't matter, rich, poor. It is 4 for everyone. It is not personal. It applies to everyone. It only becomes personal when you put 5. Now it feels personal. The law operates correctly for everyone. The laws of mind. Humanity doesn't have laws, really. They have rules. That's why they're broken all the time. That's why they're negotiated. That's why they're changed. Those are different. Gravity, nobody's jumping off the roof. It's a law. Nobody's jumping off and going up. I don't care who you donated to. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care where you are and who you are. Doesn't happen. Electricity treats everyone the same. Water treats everyone the same. Things that are law driven, right? The things that we set up before we got into this body, like we talked about at the very beginning of this program. The real us that set up all the laws of nature, right? They're not negotiable. Humanity doesn't get to change it and buy its way in and out. 2 + 2 is 4 for everyone. And if you get on the right side of the law, you'll have justice and peace. You will be free because you know and apply the truth. This is the truth. The laws of mind operate just like this. When you are, whatever you are thinking yourself to be, believing and feeling yourself to be, is what is showing up. This is what you're thinking, feeling, believing yourself to be, and its outcome. And according to that outcome, according to this number, right, these things are filling themselves in. They're automatic. You don't have to look for them, find them. Just like if you have a cold, nobody has to buy a headache. You know what? I want that number 2 cold with a little bit of flu. Let me get like a sore throat every other day with a tinge of cough. You don't have to buy the outcomes. Once you have the thing, the outcomes and the symptoms are automatically in tow. They're just letting you know what you purchased. The laws of mind are the same way. They operate just like this. They operate just like this. They are not personal. The Lord is no respecter of persons. The law is no respecter of the mind. How the mind works does not respect how you work it. If you misapply it, that's on you. Electricity doesn't care what you do. If you misapply it, that's on you. If you apply it, you can light your house, light your car, light everything up. If you misapply it, you'll light yourself up, or you'll be in darkness. The law is not for you or against you. It just is. And according to your own knowledge and awareness and maturation, your consciousness, you know how to work with it, and it'll work for you. If you don't, you'll work against it, and it'll work against you. The law of mind, the laws of mind are the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruit thereof. That's a law. What you're saying to yourself or about your circumstances, your situations on a consistent basis, death and life are in the power of your tongue, because you are the life giver. You are the power. If at the beginning of the book, there was darkness and God said, let there be light. Before God said, let there be light, there was darkness. So if God never said, let there be light, if that thought, if that highest level of thinking never said for something to change, would it have changed? Would it have changed on its own? No, right?
No.
It wouldn't. So in your life, if there's darkness, meaning there's anything you don't want, you don't like, that you want to change, there's no one else to say it but you, because you are that. What does it say? You were made in the likeness and image of that consciousness. You're just a physical expression. That is who you are. So if there's darkness, if there's the absence of light, the absence of truth, the absence of freedom in your life, it's because you have not said or you're not saying. God didn't say it was dark, and God didn't say, well, let me say nothing and let's see the light turned on. Not gonna work. God didn't say, it didn't say there was darkness and God said, let there be light. No. You know what? I didn't go to college. I didn't finish my degree. So, no, I got too many kids. No, I'm black. No, I'm a woman. Well, no, well, let me go to counseling for, no, my blood pressure's high. I don't really think no. If you don't say it, it's not getting done. If you don't do it, it's not getting done. Meaning you are the power, you are the sole authority in your life over your world. And everyone outside of yourself is no different than a spoon, a fork, a knife, a car. They are something that you're using to express your consciousness, what you believe about yourself in that area. You're going to use it according to your consciousness. A 1-year-old will use anything to do anything. Has anybody, like, we've all been young, and we probably don't know how much we remember, but we've all been around young people. And have you ever seen, like, a young person's coming over, so you put up all your good stuff? You move, you take your purse, you look at all your china, you lock it up, or you put it on the highest shelf. You put it, you lock up the kitchen cabinet so they don't get into the bleach. You lock up the stuff. Why? Because a mind at that level doesn't care what they touch. They just want to touch anything. They'll touch anything and everything. They'll touch it, open it, drink it, if they can get it, whatever they can do to it or do with it, they'll do, because they're not discerning. They'll just touch anything, right? So you, as a discerning being, learn to move your stuff around so that this being who's not there yet in their mind doesn't get to it, right? Well, it's the same thing in our mind. There's 1,000 thoughts that we can touch. But if you do that with an undiscerning mind, you're going to be touching a whole lot of stuff, drinking a whole lot of stuff, playing with a whole lot of stuff that's going to burn the house down, burn you up, electrocute you, poison you, because you're just touching anything. You're just thinking anything. You're just believing anything. These are laws. These are laws. And we are here every Saturday to remind ourselves and each other, to remember for ourselves and each other, to be discerning about what it is we are touching, not just to be touching everything, just thinking everything, realizing that we are the thinker. What you think and say matters because of who you are, not who you aren't, because of who you are. God said, let there be light, because it knew that there was nothing else to say it. And if it wanted some light, if it doesn't say it, nothing's going to happen. The difference between that God and you is the awareness of itself, of who it was. There is no difference beside that. But that difference makes all the difference. That difference makes all the difference to the point that we think there's a real difference. But that's why that mind, Jesus came and said, I and my Father are one. I know my Father who you call your God. I call that my Father. That Father is just the mind thinking. It's not a man. It's like they say Mother Nature, it's not a woman, it's just, but it is identified as a woman. Mother Nature, Father Time, it's the same thing. So what I'm saying to you is that when you know who you are, you realize that if it's dark, you better say something because there's nothing else. And death and life are in the power of your tongue. So that mind spoke life, spoke light into the world. Said, let there be light. Didn't say, well, I don't know. Well, is there somebody else I can call? Is there a loan I can get from somebody? That is your right. That is your power. That's who you really are. Darkness is just the absence of light. But metaphorically, mentally, darkness is the absence of light. Light is the absence of truth. Truth is the absence of freedom. Freedom is the absence of freedom means slave. That's it. You're not free to go as you choose and please. You are a slave. You are imprisoned. You are arrested. You are stopped. You are retarded. You're stopped. That's the original word retard meant. It means to stop, like a flame retardant. That's what a fire extinguisher is. It's a flame retardant. That is the only difference between us and humanity and the God of that Bible, is knowing who you are. That mind knew who it was. But what did it say? You're made in the image and likeness. How can you be made in the image and likeness and not be it? Cannot come from it. And if you come from it, how are you not it at the end of the day? You are. We're coming and going back to the same place. The only difference is here in the middle, we forgot, because that's the only way we could really have a good time. We wiped our memory. So we could have a good time and really believe we are this thing. That's why it's personal. So it feels the way it does physically, because it feels so real. But that's the only reason it came, was for it to feel real. We know a movie is not real yet. We're in there crying, laughing, screaming, booing, and everything else. Because for those 2 hours, we forgot. Here, we forgot. That's what makes it so real. That's what makes it wonderful. But now as we wake up, that's the great part about it, is everybody here on Saturday is in a form and a stage of waking up. They're realizing there's more to it than we thought. Almost like staying to the end of the movie and you see the credits afterward. Everybody else left early. And now you get to see the trailer for the next movie. Right? That's it. We're staying until the movie. We realize, no, man, I heard there's something going on. The last time I left, I heard I missed this thing. I'm staying. They're going to have to show me. They're going to cut the lights on before I leave these seats. That's the only difference. That's the only difference between that being, that mind that said, let there be light, and all of us here on this call, is that it knows who it was, so it acted like it. It said, I'm the only one to turn the lights on around here. Let me turn them on. We think there's somebody else. There's a committee. There's some kind of Republican convention, Democratic convention. We got to donate to somebody. We got to do community service, or we got to go feed the homeless. We got to do a whole bunch of other stuff, but turn the light on. Turn the light on, man. Turn the light on. You ever walked in with somebody and it's dark and they walk around doing 10 other things before they turn the light on? And you're like, are you serious? Turn the light on. Same thing. We're walking around in the darkness, trying to do 1,000 different things before we turn the light on. And we're killing ourselves. Pumping into this, slipping on that, falling down here. Not paying attention. Not focused on who we really are. That's the only difference for all of us. All of us have to understand that's the only difference. We forgot who we were. That mind did not, but we have the same mind. What does it say? Hero Israel. Israel, one of the definitions is, for Israel, Yisrael, is mankind, humanity that rules as God, knowing who you are. That's what that means. The only difference is we don't know, or we have forgotten who we are. That's through no fault of our own. That's why we think this is real. But we also knew that we would remember over time. That's why we didn't have a problem coming here, because we knew we'd remember over time. This is not a place that can hold us. with the person who made it. It's like your house locking you in. I can't get out. Like the house, you know, is not really alive, right? You know, you can just turn the latch, but only a baby can't get out. We can't get out of our own way because we're babies. And our mind, a lot of times we're thinking like babies. We're thinking immaturely, incorrectly, inappropriately, ignorantly, without information. And that's why we're here, is to remember and remind ourselves, like, wait, no. Just turn the latch. First time you teach the baby how to open the door or do certain things, you see their eyes light up. Why? Because they like, oh, I'm free. Oh, I'm winning now, boy. Oh, you show me how to flush the toilet? Yeah, let me see what else I can put down here. Right?
Figure out how to climb out that crib.
Right?
It's over.
Right? Right? We had them locked up until they figured it out. Once they figured it out, it's over. Guess what? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you get out of the crib of your mind, you'll be free. If we develop ourselves and we grow up enough, we'll be free. We can get out of the crib of our mind thinking that the crib is disease, famine, poverty, stress, worry, anxiety, things that we're kept in thinking that we can't get out. But when we grow up, we get out, and who wants to go back in? It's like, again, your mom put you in there. Oh, yeah. She goes to the bathroom and she comes out and you in the kitchen like, hey, what's up?
Sometimes
fear. She's never going to be able to keep you there again.
Sometimes fear, I know for me, sometimes fear makes you climb back in.
Mm-hmm. Right? But then the same thing as the baby. Why? How come the baby doesn't do it? Because they know no matter what, I make it a spanking, I make it my butt whoop, whatever else it is, but I'm free. Freedom is worth it. You're not going to keep me up in here, man. Like, what are we talking about? No way. Right? Hey, catch me if you can. Right? But I'm out. Right? Because we're like, that's our natural inclination, to be free. I see a question.
You have a question.
Maybe.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead, Stacy.
I'm getting off mute. Okay, so what you're saying now, I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm also in therapy too, don't judge me. Anyway, my therapist said that, which is actually true, that most people that are givers and over givers, that is what they have adapted to as love. So they feel the need to give all their money, all their time, volunteer, because it actually gives them a sense of happiness, which is love. But it also is a sense of control, because you get to control the love and control the feeling and not actually assume the real meaning of love. Is that like mental as well in business? Could that be the same thing?
You said and business?
Could that be the same thing when you're dealing with business? Oh, I'm going to start a business that works with t-shirts because I love t-shirts, or I'm going to start a business with counseling because I love helping people. Is it a sense of giving yourself to essentially get what you like and you feel and you control of love?
Well, so I think you're talking about two different things. If you're talking about a business, that's different. And if you're talking about a business, you're saying, and if you're saying that I get a chance to create my own business, then that means I'm doing something that I love, that I'm sharing with someone else. And whether people came or not, bought anything or not, this thing I love to do with or without them. But
well, I ain't talking about that then.
Okay.
I'm talking about as an individual, when you go through and you take all those cute little tests to tell your personality, and you find out that your gift or whatever is that you're a giver, you're merciful, and you're helpful. Is that a mental crib because that's your control of, love, or your control of helps?
No, it depends on how you're using it, what you're using it for. We could all be doing the same thing, but not be doing it for the same reason. I tell my daughter all the time, just because everyone's at school doesn't mean they're there for the same reason. Some people, they're not there to get the same thing. Some people in the back sleep. Some people are playing around. Some people are doing this. Some people are in the front paying attention. Just because we're all in the same place at the same time doesn't mean we have the same interests or the same desired outcomes or whatever else it is. So just like the words you used earlier, you have to look at not only the words you use, but what it means to you. You have to look at not only your behavior, but what is your motivation for what you're doing? What is it you're doing it for? Are you doing it because you do love to, like, I'm here because I love doing this, whether there's one person on here or 50 people. I love the way it makes me feel because I love doing this for me. I love helping people learn how to think so they can live well. I love how much it does for me, how much it's done for my life. This is my joy and my passion. So I'm talking about it whether there's one person here or 50 people here. I enjoy and respect and appreciate all of you being here, but I'd be here with or without you talking to myself. I'm talking to myself at midnight up and down the steps because I love doing what I'm doing. But if I'm doing this, hoping that you like it, hoping that you pay me, hoping that if I'm doing it, hoping to get something from you that I don't feel for myself, now it's not even for me. I'm not in control of my own emotions, my own incentives, my own motivation. So now everything I'm doing is for you. And then when you don't respond a certain way, now I'm rejected or dejected, or I'm willing to subject myself to things because it's not about me anymore. I've given my whole validation of experience to you. Whatever you say about it is good. If you don't like it, it's no good. If you come, it's great. If you don't come, it's terrible. It's not even mine anymore. I've given my experience away to you. So the whole point, to answer your question, is it's not just what I'm doing. Why am I doing it? What is the reason I'm doing it? And if that reason starts and ends with me, then it'll always be good. If it starts with me and then I give it to you, then it'll never be good because it's not about me anymore. It's about you. And I cannot control, and I don't have a right to control you. So now I've lost my experience. Right.
Okay, one
So
more
now,
question. So
yes.
you said that you would do it whether anybody was on here or not, because you're doing it because it gives you a good feeling, because that's just what you do, right? What is that feeling? Is that feeling considered to be a sense of control? That's the question, I guess.
No, it is a sense of, it is my emotional expression of my self identity and my awareness of who I am.
So it is an emotion. So it's not me being in control. It's an emotion.
It is an emotion, and it's an emotion I can pick, which is why I picked this. I didn't pick being a bowling instructor because it wouldn't make me feel the way I want to feel. What I'm doing is a reflection of how I feel about myself. It's a reflection of how I feel about me. So it has nothing to do with you in that sense, but you being here has something to do with you, right? Of how you want certain things. So we're all using each other. You're not trying to control a spoon. You're using it as a part of your experience.
No. The reason why I said that is because I enjoy helping people. I enjoy being a giver. And I was told that the reason why I do that is because it's a form of control and expressing love.
Not inherently.
So I was asking you.
Not inherently. If you are doing that because you don't feel valued, because you don't feel valuable unless you're doing something for someone, if you don't feel like you're important unless you're giving something to someone, like you don't feel any self-worth or value, or it's based on what you do for other people, then I'd be messed up until next Saturday. Until you guys showed up. I'd be sitting here rocking back and forth looking crazy, right? Because I couldn't do right. No, I feel this way about myself every day. Right. I enjoy doing what I enjoy doing every day. So you're doing what you do because of how you feel about yourself.
Thank you. That was good clarity. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I want us to be able to, I know I run my mouth, so I'm gonna slow it down and downshift it and give everybody a chance to ask any questions, say anything. We'll end it off with that so we can, I can get you guys out of here on time. Thank you all for coming as always. I appreciate you, love you all, respect you all, grateful to you all. Thank you. And is there anything anybody wanted to say, ask, share, anything like that?
Thank you, Coach Lucky. This is Sparkle Bailey. My daughter turned 18 this week, so.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thursday, yeah. So we celebrated last night. So forgive my tardiness. Thank you so much.
Hey, how's my boy doing?
Amazing. He's just growing and being amazing. He is an amazing.
That's it.
I have amazing children. They are incredible. They impress me every day. They do.
Wonderful.
They do. Thank y'all so much for showing up today for yourselves and your community. Like, I appreciate everybody being here. Coach Lucky, it doesn't matter if I come at, the beginning, the intro, the waiting room time, or if I come, 40 minutes late. It's a blessing to be here. The information is fly. It's phenomenal. It's fire. Motivated. Everybody in the comments is so helpful, and this is a great space. This is a beautiful medicinal space. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And to your point, thank you all. Everybody collectively is making it what it is. And it's just amazing and amazing and amazing and improving every week as far as growing and expanding in that because of all of you being who you are as yourselves and to each other. And I'm grateful to you all for that. Thank you all.
Another fire session. I loved it. Great reminders, great analogies, just very well done. Very well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I love the ingredients part, how literally we can just choose who we want to be, and it could be today. It could be the second. It doesn't have to be, okay, well, I have to wait till my birthday because that's going to be my new year, or wait till New Year's, right? New Year's resolution, new year, new me. There's no need for any of that. We could do that like right now. So that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, shoot. A lot of times if you don't change, you won't see a new year. Better stop waiting.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Let it be, there's darkness. Let it be light. Well, you know what? I'm gonna wait. Because I think in about 2 weeks there's a discount on sunlight.
Right.
I'm gonna go out here. Right. So yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you for another wonderful week. I appreciate you all. Like I said, have a wonderful week. Remember that this is personal, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you are special, and not in a condescending and we all get trophies way, but in the sense of that you are uniquely you. There's only one you. There'll never be another one ever again. So you have something to offer that no one else can, and we all go without it if you don't bring it. So thank you all for being who you are. Remember who you are and to be who you are, and have a wonderful week. Apply it, test it, prove it, and we'll get together next Saturday and we'll come together, reason, rejoice in good news and good testimonies of all of our applications and their outcomes, and keep on doing it.
Coach Lucky, one more thing before you go. One more thing I wanted to add. This community, and it's because of your authority here, but also the inclusion of everyone else. This community is a really great space for someone who is looking to not be more independent, but just step into her greatness. Sometimes that requires pulling away from people pleasing or pulling away from serving others and just pouring solely into yourself. This is a great resource to partner along with therapy and, changing your community to more healthy communities and things like that. This is a great resource for someone who just wants to be the best version of themselves to themselves, because you're helping us to understand all our power. You're reintroducing some of us to the power we knew we had. We just kind of forgot because we were swimming in the wrong ponds. So thank you so much, infinity times over, because this is really helpful. This space is helping me to just recharge. I look forward to Saturday mornings because I get to recharge. Thank you. Thank you. I had to say that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm thank you. And I can't tell you and everyone else how, like I said, honored and appreciative I am of all of you coming and all of us coming together and just having such wonderful times and learning and growing and reminding each other and supporting each other and all the good stuff. Like you said, all the good stuff. I can't see too much of the chat for me. I mean, I can see, but I get distracted if I look too much. So, but I get to see the little comments that you all, how kind you all are to each other, encouraging and supportive and things like that. And that makes me very happy because That's what it's for everyone to be able to take individually from it what is pertinent to them, and to, like you said, step into your own individual greatness, and for all of us to come back every Saturday and tell each other how we got off, how we got loose, how we made it work and do what it did, right? So it's always wonderful that we're all here. So thank you all. I appreciate you all, your participation and your presence, and just thank you all. And have a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week, and we'll get together next Saturday like we always do. See you guys later.